Admiral Kang Minho stood on the bridge of the TFS Horizon's edge and watched the stars through the main window. His ship was huge, stretching over 1 kilometer from front to back. Inside the ship, 50,000 people slept in special pods, dreaming of their new home on a planet called Kepler 442b. These people had left Earth to start a new life among the stars. The ship looked peaceful from the outside. Large windows showed green gardens inside where children played. Art made by kids decorated the outer walls. Anyone looking at the horizon's edge would think it was just a simple colony ship carrying families to a new world. Commander Oh Seul-gi walked up to Admiral Kang. She was his second in command and had been with him for many years. "Sir, we are getting close to the Kepler system. Everything looks normal so far." Kang nodded. He was a calm man who never showed worry on his face. "Good. How are our passengers doing?" "All sleeping well in their pods. The families will wake up when we reach the planet. The children are excited to see their new home." Suddenly, the ship's computers started making loud warning sounds. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Tactical Officer Nam Dongwoo looked up from his station with concern. "Admiral, we have 60 large ships coming toward us. They are not human ships." Chief Engineer Cho Mi-yeon checked her screens. "The ships are huge, sir. Each one is at least as big as our ship. They have weapons pointed at us." Admiral Kang walked to the center of the bridge. He had trained for this moment, but he hoped it would never come. "Put the alien ships on the main screen." The window in front of them changed to show space around their ship. 60 massive ships moved toward them in perfect formation. The alien ships were dark and covered with sharp edges. Bright lights glowed along their sides where weapons waited. Each ship looked like it was built for war. "Sir, we are getting a message from the alien ships," said Oh Seul-gi. "Put it on speakers for everyone to hear." The bridge filled with a deep, angry voice that spoke in perfect English. "Primitive mammals of Terra, you have entered our space without permission. I am Emperor Velnith of the great Veltar Empire. We rule 17 star systems. Your pathetic ship will be destroyed as an example to others who dare to enter our domain." On the main screen, a large creature appeared. Emperor Velnith had 4 arms and purple skin. His eyes glowed red with anger. Gold armor covered his chest, and a crown sat on his large head. Behind him, other aliens worked at control stations on what looked like the bridge of his flagship. "Your ship will serve as target practice for our 3rd Fleet," the Emperor continued. "We will use your destruction to test our newest weapons. Prepare to die, humans." The message ended, and the bridge became quiet. Admiral Kang looked at his crew. None of them seemed scared. Instead, they looked calm and ready. Far away on Earth, President Park Subin sat in a large room called the Global Defense Council Chambers. She was watching the same message that Admiral Kang had just received. Around the table sat the most important people in Earth's government and military. Fleet Admiral Kim Ji-won leaned back in her chair and smiled. So it finally happened. After all these years of waiting, Defense Minister Lee Tae-hyun activated his tablet. "I am sending messages to Luna Base, Mars Command, and all our asteroid stations. They need to know the plan is starting." President Park looked around the room. "Are we ready for this?" "We have been ready for 50 years, said Admiral Kim. "Ever since we first looked at the stars and knew that someday we might meet someone who would not be friendly." On her small fighter ship called Swift Retribution, Captain Yoon Hana watched the alien fleet through her sensors. Her ship was hidden and could not be seen by the aliens. She was close enough to count their weapons and study their formations. "This is Captain Yoon to Earth Command," she whispered into her radio. "I can see 60 enemy ships. They have plasma, cannons, energy shields, and some kind of gravity weapons. Their technology looks advanced." "Understood, Captain Yoon," came the reply from Earth. "Continue watching and report everything you see." Yoon studied the alien ships more carefully. They were arranged in a perfect pattern, like soldiers standing in formation. The biggest ship was in the center, surrounded by smaller ones. All the ships had their weapons pointed at the horizon's edge. "The aliens are very organized," she reported. "They move together like they have done this many times before. But they are also very proud. They are not trying to hide their attack plans." Back on the horizon's edge, Admiral Kang received a private message on his personal screen. It was from Fleet Admiral Kim on Earth. The message was short. "Remember your training. Trust the plan. Humanity is watching." Kang deleted the message and looked at his crew. Commander Osulgi was checking the ship's defensive systems. Tactical. Officer Nam Dongwu was watching the alien fleet's movements. Chief Engineer Cho Myeon was monitoring the ship's power levels. All of them were doing their jobs perfectly. "Sir," said Osulgi quietly, "should we wake up the passengers?" "Not yet," Kang replied. "Let them sleep a little longer. They will have plenty of time to see their new world." On Earth, billions of people were watching news reports about the alien threat. The reporters explained that humanity's first colony ship was surrounded by hostile aliens. Many people were scared, but the government leaders looked calm. President Park appeared on television. "Citizens of Earth, today we face our first contact with an alien species. They have chosen to greet us with threats instead of friendship. But I want everyone to know that we are prepared for this moment." In his laboratory on the moon, Dr. Shin Woo-jin studied the alien ships through powerful telescopes. He was Earth's best expert on alien life, even though he had never seen real aliens before today. "Fascinating," he said to his assistants. "Their ships use energy-based technology, plasma weapons, energy shields, artificial gravity systems. Very impressive, but also very predictable." Dr. Shin sent his analysis to Earth Command. The aliens fight the same way they probably govern, with force and rigid rules. They expect their enemies to be afraid and surrender quickly. Back in space, Emperor Velneth was growing impatient. He had given the humans time to surrender, but they had not responded. His advisors told him the human ship was not moving away or trying to hide. "Emperor," said one of his officers, "the human ship is just sitting there. They are not even trying to escape." "Stupid mammals," Velneth laughed. "They are too frightened to move. This will be easier than I thought." Admiral Kang finally activated his communication system. His calm voice reached every ship in the alien fleet. "Emperor Velneth, this is Admiral Kang of the Terran fleet. I hear your threats, but I must tell you something important. This ship carries 50,000 civilians, including children and families. They are not soldiers. They are just people who want to start a new life on a peaceful planet." Emperor Velneth appeared on the screen again, laughing loudly. "Do you think we care about your weak civilians? They chose to enter our space. Now they will pay the price. I am asking you to reconsider," Admiral Kang continued. "Let us pass through your space peacefully. We do not want to fight." "Fight?" The Emperor laughed even harder. "You pathetic creatures cannot fight us. We have conquered hundreds of worlds. We have destroyed entire species. You are nothing but insects compared to our mighty empire." On Earth, the government leaders listened to this conversation. None of them looked worried. Instead, they seemed almost happy. "The aliens are exactly what we expected," said Defense Minister Lee. "Bullies who think strength means being cruel to the weak." Fleet Admiral Kim activated her command console. "All stations, this is Admiral Kim. Begin Phase 1. Preparations. It is time to show these aliens what humans really are." Across the solar system, things that looked like peaceful space stations began to change. Solar research platforms near Mercury started unfolding hidden weapons. Mining stations in the asteroid belt dropped their disguises. On Mars, what looked like terraforming equipment revealed its true purpose. Captain Yoon Hana watched all of this from her hidden position. "Earth Command, the aliens have no idea what is coming. They think they are hunting sheep, but they are about to meet wolves." Admiral Kang looked at his crew one more time. "Remember, everyone, we are not just fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for every human who will ever travel to the stars. Today, we show the galaxy what happens when someone threatens our children." The alien fleet moved closer. Their weapons glowed brighter as they prepared to fire. Emperor Velneth raised one of his 4 arms, ready to give the order to attack. On Earth, President Park spoke to her people one final time before the battle began. "Today, humanity takes its place in the galaxy. We go not as conquerors, but as protectors of the innocent. Let the universe learn that we are kind to friends, but terrible to enemies." The stage was set. 60 alien warships faced one human colony ship. To any observer, it looked like a massacre was about to happen. But Appearances, as the aliens were about to learn, could be very deceiving. The Veltar fleet moved through space like a pack of hunters closing in on their prey. Each ship was a masterpiece of alien engineering, covered in dark metal that seemed to absorb light. Weapons ports glowed along their hulls, and energy shields shimmered around them like invisible armor. Emperor Velneth stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Fist of Dominion. The ship was massive, stretching 2 kilometers from nose to tail. Its main weapon could destroy entire cities with a single shot. Around him, his officers worked at their stations, preparing for what they thought would be an easy victory. "Report. On the human vessel," the Emperor commanded. "Sir, the ship appears to be exactly what they claim," replied his tactical officer. "One colony ship, minimal weapons, weak shields. Our sensors detect 50,000 life forms in sleeping chambers. There are gardens, art galleries, and recreational areas throughout the ship." Velneth nodded with satisfaction. "Just as I thought. These humans are soft creatures who waste space on useless things like art and gardens. When we rule their world, we will teach them the value of strength over beauty." Meanwhile, Admiral Kang Minho maintained his position near the planet Kepler 442b. His ship, the Horizon's Edge, continued its slow approach toward the world that would become humanity's second home. To anyone watching, it looked like the humans were ignoring the alien threat completely. On the bridge, Commander Osulgi monitored the ship's systems. Everything appeared normal and peaceful. The life support systems hummed quietly, keeping the sleeping passengers comfortable. The artificial gravity worked perfectly, making the ship feel like a floating city rather than a weapon of war. "Admiral," she said quietly, "the passengers are still sleeping peacefully. The children's section reports no problems. The families will wake up in a few hours to see their new world for the first time." Chief Engineer Cho Mion checked her displays. The ship's power systems showed normal readings for a civilian vessel. The engines ran at standard speed, the computers operated basic navigation programs, and the communication systems broadcast civilian frequencies. "All systems green, sir," she reported. "The ship is performing exactly as expected for a colony." "Vessel!" Tactical Officer Nam Dongwu watched the approaching alien fleet. 60 ships maintaining formation. They are taking their time, probably enjoying the moment before they attack. Admiral Kang nodded calmly. He had trained for this situation for 20 years, but he had hoped it would never happen. Still, if aliens wanted to threaten human children, they would learn why that was a mistake. Back on Earth, Fleet Admiral Kim Ji-won sat in the Global Defense Command Center. The room was deep underground, protected by layers of metal and rock. Dozens of officers worked at stations around her, monitoring events across the solar system. "Admiral, all stations report ready," said her aide, Commander Bei Jinsu. "Luna, Base, Mars Command, and the asteroid stations are standing by for your orders." Kim looked at the main display screen. It showed the position of every human ship and station in the solar system. Most people on Earth thought these were scientific research facilities or mining operations. They had no idea what these innocent-looking structures really contained. "Begin Phase 1, Kim ordered. "Activate Protocol 7. Across the solar system, the transformation began. Near the sun, the Mercury Solar Research Station started to change. What had looked like solar panel arrays began to unfold, revealing themselves as massive weapon platforms. The research station was actually humanity's first line of defense, armed with weapons that could reach any point in the inner solar system. On Mars, the terraforming stations started their own transformation. Dome-shaped buildings that seemed designed for changing the planet's atmosphere began to open like giant flowers. Inside each dome, sleek spacecraft waited in hidden hangars. These were not the slow cargo ships that civilians knew about. These were military vessels designed for one purpose: war. In the asteroid belt, mining platforms throughout the region started dropping their disguises. What had appeared to be simple rock-crushing equipment revealed itself as weapons capable of destroying moon-sized objects. These platforms had been built over 30 years, hidden among real mining operations. Dr. Shin Woo-jin worked in his laboratory on Luna Base. As Earth's chief xenobiologist, he had spent his career preparing for this moment. His job was to study any alien life forms that humanity might encounter. Today, he was getting his first real test: computer. Analyze the alien ship designs, he commanded. The laboratory's advanced systems studied the images sent from Captain Yoon Hana's reconnaissance fighter. Within minutes, they had a complete analysis of Veltar technology. Analysis complete, the computer announced. The alien vessels use plasma-based weaponry, energy shield generators, and artificial gravity systems. Their technology appears to be approximately 200 years behind current human military capabilities. Dr. Shin smiled. 200 years behind. That means they are using technology that our great-grandparents would have considered advanced. He sent his report to Earth Command immediately. The aliens are dangerous to civilian ships, but their weapons and defenses are obsolete compared to our military technology. They rely heavily on energy-based systems that we learned to counter decades ago. Captain Yoon Hana continued her surveillance from her hidden position. Her ship, the Swift Retribution, was invisible to alien sensors thanks to advanced stealth technology. She could watch the enemy fleet without being detected. Earth Command, this is Captain Yoon, she whispered into her communication system. The aliens are broadcasting their attack plans on open frequencies. They are not using any security codes or encryption. They seem to think no one would dare spy on them. Understood, Captain, came the reply from Earth. What are their plans? They plan to destroy the colony ship with their main weapons as a demonstration of power. After that, they want to broadcast the destruction to other human worlds as a warning. They think this will make all humans surrender without fighting. Yoon shook her head in amazement. These aliens have no idea how humans think. They believe that seeing one ship destroyed will make us afraid. They do not understand that hurting our civilians will only make us angry. On the horizon's edge, Admiral Kang received updates from Earth through secret communication channels. The messages were hidden inside normal ship status reports, invisible to anyone monitoring their transmissions. Admiral, said Commander O. Seulgi, we are receiving routine maintenance reports from Earth. Everything appears normal. Kang nodded, but he understood the hidden meaning. Earth was telling him that all their secret preparations were complete. Humanity's true military power was ready to reveal itself. Emperor Velneth grew tired of waiting. His fleet had been approaching the human ship for an hour, and the humans had not tried to run away or surrender. This was unusual. Most species begged for mercy when they saw the Veltar Empire's warships. Why do the humans not respond properly? He asked his advisors. They should be terrified. They should be calling for mercy. Perhaps they are too frightened to speak, Emperor, suggested one officer. Some species freeze with fear when they see our mighty fleet. Or perhaps they are too stupid to understand the danger, said another. These humans are a young species. They may not know how to react to superior beings like ourselves. Velneth accepted these explanations. In his experience, primitive species always behaved strangely when faced with the Empire's power. Some cried, some begged, some simply waited for death. The humans seemed to be the type that waited. Very well, he decided. We will give them one final chance to surrender. If they do not respond, we will begin the demonstration. Deep in the horizon's edge, the 50,000 sleeping passengers continued their dreams. They had no idea that their ship was surrounded by hostile aliens. The children dreamed of playing on beaches under an alien sun. The adults dreamed of building new cities and farms on their new world. Dr. Lee Nari, the ship's head of civilian affairs, monitored the sleeping families. Her job was to make sure everyone stayed healthy and comfortable during the long journey. She had been doing this work for 5 years, helping people prepare for their new lives among the stars. All passenger sections report normal, she told her assistants. Life support is stable, the sleeping chambers are working perfectly, and medical systems show no problems. The families will wake up refreshed and ready to see their new home. She had no idea that her ship was about to become the center of humanity's first interstellar war. On Earth, President Park Subin prepared to address the world. In a few minutes, she would tell humanity the truth about their real capabilities. For 50 years, Earth's leaders had kept their greatest secret. Humanity was not the peaceful, weak species that other worlds might think they were. Madam President, said her aide, the global broadcast system is ready. Every person on Earth will hear your message. Mars Colony and Luna Base are also connected. Park nodded. Good. It is time for our people to know what we have built in secret. They deserve to understand why we have spent so much money on scientific research and space exploration over the past 50 years. Defense Minister Lee Tae-hyun made final preparations for the battle that was coming. All defense platforms report ready. The asteroid belt weapons are online. Mars fleet is prepared. Tulao. Emperor Velneth raised his upper right arm, a gesture that every officer in his fleet recognized. It was the signal to prepare for the killing shot. Around him, the bridge of the Fist of Dominion hummed with deadly energy as the main weapon reached full power. "Target locked on the human vessel," reported his weapons officer. "The planet cracker cannon is ready to fire, Emperor." Velneth looked at the peaceful colony ship on his screen. The horizon's edge continued its slow approach to the planet, seemingly unaware of the massive weapons pointed at it. Gardens were still visible through the transparent sections of the hull. Children's artwork decorated the outer walls. To the Emperor, it represented everything weak about these soft creatures called humans. "Citizens of the galaxy," Velneth announced, broadcasting on all frequencies. "Witness the fate of those who dare to challenge the Veltar Empire. Let this destruction serve as a lesson to any species that thinks they can enter our domain without permission." He paused for dramatic effect, enjoying this moment of absolute power. "Humans, you have ignored our generous offer of quick death. Now you will die slowly, and your destruction will be recorded for all the galaxy to see. Your pathetic species will learn that the universe belongs to the strong, not the weak." On the bridge of the horizon's edge, Admiral Kang Minho listened to this speech with growing anger. Beside him, Commander Osulgi clenched her fists. Chief Engineer Cho Myon shook her head in disgust. Tactical Officer Nam Dongwoo checked his weapon systems one final time. "Admiral," said Osulgi quietly, "they are about to fire on a ship, full of sleeping families." "I know," Kang replied, his voice cold as space itself. "And that will be the biggest mistake they ever make." Admiral Kang activated his communication system. His voice reached every ship in the alien fleet, calm and controlled despite the situation. "Emperor Velneth, this is Admiral Kang of the Terran fleet. I want to make something very clear to you and anyone listening to this conversation." The Emperor laughed, a harsh sound that echoed across the communication channels. "The human speaks. Are you finally ready to beg for mercy, little mammal?" "No," Kang replied simply. "I am giving you one final warning. This ship carries 50,000 civilian passengers, including children and their families. They are not soldiers. They are not a threat to your empire. They are simply people who want to start new lives on a distant world." "Pathetic," Velneth shouted. "Do you think we care about your weak civilians? They chose to enter our space. Now they pay the price for your species' arrogance." Admiral Kang's voice remained steady. "I am formally requesting that you allow us to pass through your territory peacefully. We have no quarrel with your empire. We seek only to reach our new home." Emperor Velneth's four arms spread wide in a gesture of mock surprise. "Listen to this creature. It thinks it can negotiate with gods. Human. We are the Veltar Empire. We have conquered 17 star systems. We have destroyed entire civilizations. Your pathetic little ship is nothing more than target practice for our weapons." "You are making a mistake," Admiral Kang said, quietly. "The only mistake," Velneth replied, "was made by whoever sent you into our territory. But we will correct that mistake now. Weapons officer, destroy that ship!" The bridge of the Fist of Dominion erupted in activity. The main weapon, a plasma cannon capable of cracking planets, fired with the power of a small star. A column of brilliant energy lanced through space toward the horizon's edge, bright enough to blind anyone looking directly at it. On Earth, billions of people watched the attack through news broadcasts. Many covered their eyes or turned away from their screens. President Park Subin sat in the Global Defense Command Center, her face grim as she watched the plasma beam race toward the colony ship. "All stations," she said into her microphone, "prepare to reveal our true nature." The plasma beam struck the horizon's edge dead center, hitting the section where the main passenger compartments were located. The energy was enough to vaporize mountains, boil seas, or turn entire cities into glass. It should have destroyed the colony ship instantly. Instead, something impossible happened. The plasma beam hit the ship and simply disappeared. A shimmering field of energy surrounded the horizon's edge, absorbing the deadly attack like it was nothing more than sunlight. The ship continued its peaceful course toward the planet, completely undamaged. On the bridge of the colony ship, Commander Osulgi checked her instruments. Quantum entanglement shields holding at 100% efficiency. No damage to hull, passengers, or ship systems. Emperor Velneth stared at his screen in shock. His most powerful weapon, capable of destroying entire fleets, had no effect whatsoever on the human ship. Impossible! Our sensors show the weapon struck directly. How can they still be alive? His tactical officer's hands shook as he checked his instruments. Emperor, the energy readings are impossible. The human ship absorbed our entire attack without taking any damage. Their defensive technology is beyond anything in our databases. Fire again! Velneth screamed. All ships, concentrate! Fire on that vessel! Destroy it now! 60 Veltar warships opened fire at once. Plasma cannons, particle beams, and graviton torpedoes filled the space around the horizon's edge with deadly energy. The barrage was enough to destroy a small moon. The combined firepower of the entire fleet focused on one target. Again, the attacks simply vanished against the colony ship's shields. The horizon's edge continued its approach to the planet as if nothing had happened. On Earth, President Park Subin stood up from her chair. It was time to address her people and tell them the truth that had been hidden for 50 years. Citizens of Earth, she began, her voice broadcast to every human settlement in the solar system. Today you are witnessing first contact with an alien species. As you can see, they have chosen to greet us with violence instead of friendship. She paused, looking directly into the camera. What you are about to learn is that your government has been preparing for this possibility for 5 decades. The money we spent on scientific research and space exploration was actually used to build the most advanced military force in the galaxy. On Mars, the terraforming domes opened completely. Hundreds of sleek warships rose from hidden underground hangars. These were not the slow cargo vessels that civilians knew about. These ships could travel faster than light and carried weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Near Mercury, the Solar Research Station completed its transformation. What had appeared to be solar panel arrays were actually massive railguns, each one capable of accelerating projectiles to significant fractions of light speed. The research station was humanity's first orbital weapons platform. In the asteroid belt, mining platforms throughout the region dropped their disguises. Rock-crushing equipment revealed itself as particle beam cannons. Ore refineries opened to show missile launching systems. Gravity manipulation devices that had been used for moving asteroids were actually weapons capable of crushing enemy ships. Fleet Admiral Kim Ji-won activated the Seoul Defense Grid. Around Earth, thousands of satellites that civilians thought were for communications suddenly bristled with weapons. The space elevators that carried cargo between Earth and orbit revealed their true purpose as massive orbital cannons. Luna Base, humanity's oldest off-world settlement, dropped its peaceful appearance. The scientific research facilities opened to reveal enough firepower to destroy entire planets. Weapon batteries that had been disguised as radio telescopes turned toward the alien fleet. Captain Yoon Hana received new orders through her secret communication system. All stealth units, this is Fleet Command. Begin Phase 2 operations. Show these aliens what happens when they threaten human children. From her hidden position, Yoon could see the Veltar fleet's confusion. The alien ships were firing everything. They had at the horizon's edge, but none of their attacks were working. Their formations were starting to break apart as panic spread through their ranks. This is Captain Yoon to all fighter wings, she broadcast on secure channels. The aliens have fired on a civilian ship carrying families. They have shown us who they really are. Now we show them who we really are. Dr. Shin Woo-jin finished his analysis of the alien attack patterns. Computer, send this report to Fleet Command. The Veltar use predictable energy-based weapons systems. Their plasma cannons operate on frequencies we learned to neutralize 38 years ago. Their shields use technology our great-grandparents would consider primitive. He looked at the tactical display showing the alien fleet. These creatures think they are advanced, but they are fighting with stone knives and wooden clubs compared to our weapons. On the horizon's edge, Admiral Kang made a decision that would change galactic history. Commander O dropped the civilian disguise. It's time to show them what a real warship looks like. The colony ship began its transformation. External hull panels slid away, revealing that the peaceful appearance had been an elaborate disguise. The gardens and art galleries were real, but they had been built around the frame of the most advanced warship humanity had ever created. Weapon ports opened along the hull. Shield generators that had been hidden behind decorative panels came online. The engines, which had been running at minimal power to maintain the illusion of a slow colony ship, began operating at their true capacity. The Veltar fleet hung in space, stunned by what they had just witnessed. 3 of their mighty cruisers had vanished in an instant, destroyed by a weapon they could not understand. Emperor Velneth stood on his bridge, staring at the empty space, where his ships had been just moments before. "Report!" he screamed at his officers. "What kind of weapon was that? How did they destroy 3 ships with 1 shot?" His science officer's hands shook as he read the sensor data. "Emperor, our instruments cannot explain what happened. The human weapon seems to have converted matter directly into energy. The physics involved are beyond our understanding." Meanwhile, the Horizon's Edge continued its transformation. More hull panels slid away, revealing weapon systems that looked nothing like traditional space combat equipment. Instead of massive gun barrels or missile tubes, the ship bristled with devices that seemed to bend light around them. Chief Engineer Cho Mion monitored the ship's true power systems. "Admiral, all singularity generators are online. We have enough antimatter reserves for sustained combat operations. The quantum manipulation arrays are functioning perfectly." Admiral Kang nodded. "Excellent. Begin broadcasting on all frequencies. I want every ship in this sector to hear what I have to say." His voice carried across space, reaching not just the Veltar fleet, but any other aliens who might be listening. "This is Admiral Kang Minho of the Terran fleet. To any species monitoring this engagement, understand that humanity did not start this fight. We came in peace, carrying families and children to a new world. The Veltar Empire chose to attack civilians without provocation. Emperor Velneth tried to interrupt, but human jamming technology blocked his communications. For the first time in his life, he could not speak when he wanted to. The Emperor will now learn," Admiral Kang continued, "what happens when someone threatens human children. Across the solar system, humanity's true military power began to reveal itself. On Mars, Commander Park Yun-woo led the first squadron of stealth destroyers as they rose from their hidden bases. These ships had been disguised as terraforming equipment for 30 years, but they were actually some of the fastest and most deadly vessels ever built. "All Mars squadrons, this is Commander Park," she announced. "We have waited decades for this moment. The aliens think they can threaten human families and face no consequences. Let's show them how wrong they are." The stealth destroyers activated their cloaking systems and began moving toward the Kepler system. Unlike the slow cargo ships that civilians knew about, these vessels could cross interstellar distances in days rather than months. Near Mercury, the solar defense platform finished its transformation. Captain Han Suho commanded the station's massive railguns, each one capable of accelerating projectiles to incredible speeds. "Platform Alpha ready to fire. We have clear shots at the alien fleet." In the asteroid belt, dozens of hidden weapons platforms came online. What had appeared to be simple mining operations revealed themselves as the most advanced military installations in human space. Captain Lee Nari commanded the belt defenses from her flagship, a massive battle station that had been disguised as a mineral processing facility. "All belt stations report ready," she announced. "We have the alien fleet surrounded. They have no idea how many weapons are pointed at them right now." Luna Base completed its own transformation. The scientific research facilities opened like flowers, revealing enough firepower to destroy entire star systems. Dr. Kang So-min, who had spent years pretending to study lunar geology, was actually the base's weapons coordinator. "Luna Base weapons online," she reported. "We have gravitational pulse cannons, quantum torpedo launchers, and singularity bombs ready for deployment." Fleet Admiral Kim Ji-won watched the tactical display from Earth's command center. Red dots representing alien ships were surrounded by blue dots showing human forces. The aliens thought they were attacking one defenseless colony ship. In reality, they had walked into the most sophisticated military trap ever created. "Begin Phase 3, she ordered. "All units, execute Operation Revelation." Throughout the galaxy, sleeper ships that had left Earth decades ago suddenly activated. These vessels had been traveling to Veltar territory for years, disguised as exploration ships or trading vessels. Now, they revealed their true purpose. In the Veltar home system, Captain Bei Jinsu's ship Hidden Dagger emerged from an asteroid field where it had been hiding for 5 years. His crew had spent all that time studying alien defenses and mapping their military installations. "This is Captain Bei to all deep space units," he broadcast on secure channels. "The aliens have attacked human civilians. Begin interdiction protocols. Cut off their supply lines and communication networks." Near the Veltar industrial worlds, Commander Yang Min-seo's fleet materialized from quantum stealth. Her ships had been disguised as cargo vessels, slowly mapping every important facility in alien space. Now they prepared to disable the enemy's ability to build more warships. Dr. Shin Woo-jin completed his analysis of Veltar technology from his lunar laboratory. "Computer, send this report to all fleet units. The aliens use energy-based weapons that we mastered and abandoned 50 years ago. Their shields operate on principles we consider primitive. Their faster-than-light communication uses quantum entanglement methods that we can easily disrupt." He paused, studying the alien fleet through his instruments. "Most importantly, their entire military doctrine is based on overwhelming primitive enemies with superior technology. They have never fought someone who is more advanced than they are." On the horizon's edge, Tactical Officer Nam Dongwoo prepared the ship's most devastating weapons. "Admiral, quantum torpedo tubes loaded with antimatter warheads. Singularity. Cannon charged and ready. Space-time manipulation arrays online." Commander Oh Seulgi monitored the ship's passengers. "All civilian sections secure. The families are still sleeping peacefully. They have no idea that we are about to change galactic history." Admiral Kang looked at his crew with pride. These men and women had trained for decades for this moment, always hoping it would never come. But now that it was here, they were ready to show the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. "Target the enemy flagship," he ordered. "Full power to forward weapons. Let's give Emperor Velneth a demonstration of human technology." The horizon's edge fired its second shot. This time, the weapon was a quantum torpedo that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The torpedo passed through the Veltar, flagship's shields as if they were not there, because in several dimensions, the shields did not exist. The Fist of Dominion shuddered as the torpedo struck its hull. But instead of exploding, the weapon began converting the ship's own armor into energy. The massive flagship started glowing as its hull plating turned into pure light. Emperor Velneth felt his ship shaking apart around him. "All stations, damage. Report! What is happening to my ship?" "Emperor, the human weapon is converting our hull into energy. Our armor is disappearing. The weapon is eating our ship." Across the alien fleet, panic began to spread. Their most powerful flagship was being slowly consumed by a weapon they could not understand or stop. Ships that had conquered hundreds of worlds were helpless against human technology. Captain Yoon Hana led the first wave of human fighters into battle. Her swift retribution and dozens of similar craft dropped their stealth fields, appearing suddenly among the alien formation. These fighters were unlike anything the Veltar had ever seen. Instead of using rocket engines for propulsion, the human fighters manipulated local gravity fields. They could accelerate instantly in any direction, stop on a point, or even fly backwards without turning around. The alien pilots, trained to fight conventional spacecraft, had no idea how to respond. "All fighter wings. This is Captain Yoon," she announced. "Begin assault pattern Gamma. Show these aliens how human pilots really fight." The fighters swarmed through the Veltar formation like angry wasps. Their weapons were small compared to those on the larger ships, but they fired quantum disruptors that could punch through any armor. Alien vessels that had seemed invincible, moments before, began exploding under concentrated fighter attacks. Emperor Velneth tried desperately to contact his other fleets. "All commands, this is Emperor Velneth. We are under attack by humans with impossible technology. Send all available ships to the Kepler system immediately." But his communications were blocked. The horizon's edge had activated a quantum communication disruptor, cutting off all faster-than-light transmissions in the entire star system. The Veltar Empire, which relied on instant communication to coordinate their vast territory, suddenly found itself isolated and blind. Defense Minister Lee Tae-hyun coordinated the attack from Earth's command center. All stations, the enemy fleet, is breaking formation. They are trying to retreat to different areas of the system. Do not let them escape. From the asteroid belt, Captain Lee Nari's weapons platforms opened fire. Particle beams that could core asteroids lanced out toward the fleeing alien ships. The weapons traveled at light speed, making them impossible to dodge at close range. The solar defense platform near Mercury fired its railguns. Projectiles accelerated to incredible speeds, crossed the solar system in minutes, striking alien ships with the force of nuclear weapons. But these were not primitive nuclear explosives. They were kinetic kill. Emperor Velneth watched in horror as reality itself bent around his fleet. The space-time manipulation weapon from the human ship had created a bubble of twisted physics that trapped his remaining vessels. Ships that tried to escape found themselves moving in circles, unable to break free from the distorted space around them. "All ships, emergency jump to hyperspace," he commanded desperately. "Escape this system immediately." But his ships could not jump. The altered space-time made faster than light, travel impossible. His fleet was trapped like insects in amber, completely at the mercy of the humans they had tried to destroy. On the bridge of his crippled flagship, alarms screamed as system after system failed. The Fist of Dominion, once the pride of the Veltar Empire, was now a floating wreck. The quantum torpedo was still slowly eating away at the ship's hull, converting armor plating into harmless energy. "Emperor," his communications officer reported with a shaking voice, "we have lost contact with all our other fleets. The humans are blocking all our transmissions. We cannot call for help." Admiral Kang's voice reached every ship in the trapped alien fleet. "Emperor Velneth, your ships are now prisoners of physics itself. Your weapons cannot harm us, your shields cannot protect you, and your communications cannot reach your empire. You are completely helpless." The Emperor's four arms trembled with rage and fear. "What do you want, human? Do you plan to destroy us all?" "That depends," Admiral Kang replied calmly, "on whether you are willing to listen to reason. Your empire attacked a civilian vessel carrying families and children. That action has consequences. Across the galaxy, the consequences were already beginning. Captain Bei Jinsu's ship Hidden Dagger had been waiting in the Veltar home system for 5 years, studying their defenses and mapping their military installations. Now he put that knowledge to work. "All deep space units, this is Captain Bei," he transmitted on secure channels. "Begin Operation Checkmate. Target their communication arrays first. Cut the Empire off from its own territory." The Veltar Empire controlled 17 star systems through a network of faster-than-light communication relays. These stations allowed the Emperor to send orders instantly across hundreds of light years. Without them, the Empire would be blind and deaf. Human stealth ships emerged from hiding places throughout Veltar space. They had been positioned for years, disguised as harmless cargo vessels or scientific expeditions. Now they revealed their true purpose as they began systematically destroying the communication network. Commander Yang Minseo led the attack on the industrial worlds. Her ships had been studying Veltar manufacturing capabilities for 3 years, learning how the aliens built their warships and weapons. "All units, target the shipyards first. If they cannot build new ships, they cannot replace their losses." Alien shipyards were massive installations, each one capable of building entire fleets. They were heavily defended by orbital platforms and patrol squadrons, but the human ships carried weapons that the defenders could not understand or counter. Quantum disruptors phased through shields and armor to destroy ship frameworks from the inside. Singularity bombs created tiny black holes that consumed entire space stations. Gravitational weapons crushed defensive platforms like empty cans. On the planet Veltar Prime, the Empire's capital world, chaos erupted as communication with the outer systems was lost. General Korthvan, the Emperor's military commander, tried desperately to understand what was happening. "Report!" he demanded from his advisors. "Why have we lost contact with the Third Fleet? What is happening in the Kepler system?" "Sir, our communication relays are going offline one by one," replied his intelligence officer. "Unknown ships are attacking our installations throughout the Empire. We are being cut off from our own territory." General Korthvan studied the tactical displays in disbelief. Red warning lights showed failed communications across half the Empire. How is this possible? Who could coordinate such a massive attack? The humans only have one ship. But the humans did not have just one ship. They had been secretly building the most advanced military force in the galaxy for 50 years. What the aliens thought was humanity's first venture into space was actually the final move in a strategy that had been planned for decades. Dr. Shin Woo-jin finished his analysis of the Veltar command structure from his laboratory on Luna Base. Computer, send this report to all fleet commanders. The Veltar Empire is completely dependent on centralized control. Remove their communication network and their ability to coordinate collapses immediately. He studied the incoming reports from human forces throughout the galaxy. The aliens have never fought a war against an enemy they could not immediately contact and threaten. Their entire military doctrine assumes they can always communicate with their opponents. Fleet Admiral Kim Ji-won coordinated the multi-system attack from Earth's command center. Status reports poured in from across the galaxy as human forces executed plans that had been in development for decades. Captain Park reports successful strikes on Veltar Industrial Sector 7. Commander Lee has disabled their main fleet base in the Zarian system. Captain Yoon's fighter wings have destroyed 6 communication relays in the border regions. She turned to Defense Minister Lee Tae-hyun. The alien empire is fragmenting exactly as our strategists predicted. Without instant communication, they cannot coordinate their scattered fleets. On the horizon's edge, Commander Oh Sulgi monitored the ship's passengers. Admiral, the civilian sections remain secure. The families are still sleeping peacefully in their pods. The children will wake up in a few hours to see their new world, completely unaware that a war was fought to protect them. Chief Engineer Cho Mi-yeon reported on the ship's condition. All systems functioning perfectly. The space-time manipulation field is stable. The alien fleet remains trapped and helpless. Tactical Officer Nam Dong-woo tracked the positions of every Veltar ship. 47 enemy vessels remaining in the trap, 3 destroyed, 10 disabled. The flagship is still losing hull mass to the quantum torpedo, but life support appears stable. Admiral Kang made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. Open a direct channel to Emperor Velneth. It's time to discuss terms. The Emperor's image appeared on the main screen. His proud bearing was gone, replaced by the desperate look of a leader who had realized his empire was crumbling. What terms? Human? You have already destroyed us. Not destroyed, Admiral Kang corrected. Defeated. There is a difference. Your empire attacked civilian ships and threatened human children. That behavior will stop immediately. And if we refuse? Admiral Kang gestured to the tactical display, which showed the positions of human forces throughout Veltar space. Then your empire will cease to exist within the next 24 hours. We have forces positioned at every major installation in your territory. Your communication network is already gone. Your shipyards are being systematically destroyed. Emperor. Velneth's eyes widened as he realized the scope of the human operation. How long have you been planning this? 50 years, Admiral Kang replied simply. Ever since we first looked at the stars and realized that someday we might meet someone who would not be friendly. On Earth, President Park Subin addressed the planet once again. Citizens of humanity, today our species has taken its place as a major power in the galaxy. But we have not done so through conquest or aggression. We have done so by defending our families and children from those who would harm them. She paused, looking directly into the cameras, broadcasting her words across human space. Let every species in the galaxy understand this. Humanity will live in peace with any people who respect our right to exist. But those who threaten our families will face consequences they cannot imagine. Captain Yoon Hana led her fighter wings on patrol around the trapped alien fleet. Her swift retribution moved through space with impossible grace, demonstrating flight, capabilities that violated everything the aliens thought they knew about physics. All fighter wings, maintain patrol formation, she ordered. The aliens are no longer a threat, but we will remain ready until this situation is resolved. Dr. Kang Somin prepared Luna Base's most powerful weapons for a demonstration. Admiral Kim, gravitational pulse cannons are ready to fire on the alien fleet. Shall we show them what happens to species that attack human children? Not yet, Admiral Kim replied. Let's see if they are smart enough to surrender peacefully. If not, We will give them a lesson they will never forget. In the Veltar Industrial Systems, Commander Yang Minseo completed her objectives. All primary shipyards destroyed or disabled. The aliens cannot build replacement vessels for at least 5 years. Their military production capability has been eliminated. Captain Bei Jinsu reported from the Veltar home system. Communication network completely severed. The Empire cannot coordinate its remaining forces. Each star system is now isolated and cut off from central command. Throughout the galaxy, other alien species monitored the destruction of the Veltar Empire with growing amazement and fear. The humans had revealed themselves as the most advanced military force anyone had ever seen. Species that had considered themselves powerful suddenly realized they were primitives compared to these deceptively peaceful creatures from Earth. Emperor Velneth finally understood the true situation. His MP, Admiral Kang Minho, stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, looking at the trapped alien fleet through the main viewing window. 47 Veltar warships hung helplessly in the twisted space-time bubble, their weapons useless, and their communications blocked. The mighty fleet that had come to destroy a peaceful colony ship was now completely at humanity's mercy. Emperor Velneth, Admiral Kang said calmly, "You asked what we want from you. The answer is simple. We want you to learn." The Emperor's image on the communication screen showed confusion and fear. "Learn what, human?" "Learn that the universe does not belong to the strong alone," Admiral Kang replied. "Learn that attacking civilians has consequences. Learn that there are species in this galaxy who will not bow to bullies, no matter how powerful those bullies think they are." Emperor Velneth's forearms gestured helplessly. "Your people have destroyed my empire in a matter of hours. What more do you want? Complete surrender? The execution of my entire fleet?" Admiral Kang shook his head. "We want something much more valuable than your surrender. We want your cooperation in building a better galaxy for all species." The Emperor stared in disbelief. You are not going to destroy us?" "That depends entirely on your choices from this moment forward," Admiral Kang explained. "Your empire is finished. Your communication networks are gone, your shipyards are destroyed, and your scattered fleets cannot coordinate with each other. You can no longer threaten peaceful species or attack civilian ships." He paused, allowing the Emperor to absorb this information. "But your people do not have to die. Your species does not have to become extinct. You can choose to join a new kind of galactic community, one based on cooperation instead of conquest." On Earth, President Park Subin made a historic announcement to the human population. "Citizens of humanity, today marks the beginning of a new era. We have proven that our species can defend itself against any threat. But more importantly, we have shown that we will use our strength to protect the innocent, not to conquer the weak." She stood before representatives from every human settlement in the solar system. The Veltar Empire no longer exists as a military threat, but the Veltar people will be offered a chance to join what we are calling the Terran Commonwealth, a union of species dedicated to peaceful exploration and mutual protection. Defense Minister Lee Tae-hyun coordinated the massive operation that was reshaping the galaxy. All fleet commanders begin Phase 4. Offer humanitarian assistance to any Veltar worlds that request it. Show them that humans fight only when threatened, not because we enjoy violence. Throughout former Veltar space, human ships began broadcasting messages of assistance rather than demands for surrender. Dr. Han Suho led medical teams to planets where the destruction of communication networks had left populations confused and afraid. "This is Dr. Han of the Terran Medical Corps," he announced to the Veltar colonies. "We are here to provide emergency supplies and medical assistance. We know you are cut off from your government and may need help." The response from alien civilians was overwhelming. Many Veltar had lived in fear of their own empire's harsh rule. The prospect of joining a galactic community that valued cooperation over conquest appealed to millions of ordinary aliens who had never wanted to be part of an aggressive military state. Captain Yoon Hana led humanitarian missions to former Veltar military bases. Her fighters, which had been instruments of war just hours before, now carried food, medicine, and emergency supplies to stranded alien personnel. "This is Captain Yoon to all Veltar military units," she broadcast. Your empire attacked human civilians, but your individual soldiers are not our enemies. Any personnel who wish to surrender peacefully will be treated with dignity and respect. The horizon's edge, the 50,000 sleeping passengers began to wake up as the ship approached their new world. Dr. Lee Nari supervised the awakening process, making sure families were reunited and children were comfortable. "Welcome to Kepler 442b, she announced over the ship's communication system. "Your new home awaits. The journey has been successful, and you are all safe." The families emerged from their sleeping pods to see their destination through the ship's large windows. The planet was beautiful, blue oceans, green continents, and white clouds swirling through a clear atmosphere. It looked like a second Earth, perfect for human settlement. "Mommy, is that our new home?" asked a young girl, pressing her face against the window. "Yes, sweetheart," her mother replied, not knowing that a war had been fought to protect her family's right to reach this world. "That's where we're going to live now." Commander Osulgi coordinated the landing preparations. "All passenger sections report ready for orbital insertion. The colonists are healthy and excited to begin their new lives." Admiral Kang smiled as he watched the families prepare for their new adventure. "This is why we fight," he said quietly. "Not for conquest or glory, but so that children can grow up free to reach for the stars." Emperor Velneth made his final decision. "Admiral Kang, we accept your offer. The Veltar people will join your commonwealth. But I must ask, why show mercy to those who attacked you?" "Because," Admiral Kang replied, "destroying enemies creates more enemies. But turning enemies into friends creates a better universe for everyone." Fleet Admiral Kim Ji-won announced the end of military operations from Earth's command center. "All units, stand down from combat alert. Begin transition to peacekeeping and humanitarian operations. The war is over. The real work begins." Now, across the galaxy, human forces began the massive task of helping former Veltar territories transition to peaceful governance. Dr. Shinwoo Jin led teams of scientists who shared human technology with alien researchers, but only technologies that could be used for peaceful purposes. "We will teach you to heal diseases, grow food, and explore space," he explained to Veltar scientists. "We will not teach you to build better weapons. Those days are over." Captain Bei Jinsu supervised the restoration of communication networks throughout former Veltar space, but the new networks were designed differently. Instead of allowing one central authority to control everything, they enabled local communities to govern themselves while remaining connected to the larger Commonwealth. "Every world will have a voice," he explained to local leaders. "No single planet or species will dominate the others. We will make decisions together as equals." 6 months later, Admiral Kang stood on the surface of Kepler 442b, watching human children play on beaches under an alien sun. The colony was thriving, with cities rising from the fertile plains and farms spreading across the continents. Beside him stood Governor Velneth. The former emperor had chosen to help lead the peaceful transition of his people. He wore simple clothes instead of royal armor, and his manner was humble rather than arrogant. "Admiral," Velneth said quietly, "I must apologize for my people's actions. We thought strength meant the ability to destroy. You have shown us that true strength is the ability to protect and build." "Your people are learning quickly," Admiral Kang replied. "The Commonwealth grows stronger every day because of the contributions from former Veltar worlds." Human Administrator Yang Min-seo approached with the daily reports. "Admiral, we have received applications for Commonwealth membership from 15 more species. Word is spreading that we offer protection and cooperation instead of conquest and slavery." The transformation was remarkable. In just 6 months, the Terran Commonwealth had grown from a single human solar system to a union of 43 worlds and 12 different species. Trade flourished, scientific research accelerated, and conflicts were resolved through negotiation rather than warfare. Dr. Kang So-min established the Commonwealth's first interspecies university on Luna Base. "Students from every member world are welcome," she announced. "Together, we will push the boundaries of knowledge and explore the mysteries of the universe." Captain Park Yun-woo commanded the Commonwealth's exploration fleets. Her ships ventured into unknown regions of space, not as conquerors but as ambassadors. "We come in peace," was the message they carried to every new species they encountered. On Earth, children learned about the galaxy in schools that taught cooperation alongside competition. The history lessons included the story of how humanity had revealed its true strength not through aggression, but through the defense of innocent families. President Park Subin addressed the Commonwealth Assembly, a gathering of representatives from every member world. 6 months ago, humanity was unknown to most of the galaxy. Today we lead a union of free peoples dedicated to peace, prosperity, and the protection of all sentient life. She looked out at the diverse audience, humans, former Veltar, and dozens of other species who had joined the Commonwealth. "This is what we have built together, not an empire based on fear, but a community based on hope." The galaxy had learned its lesson about humanity. Other aggressive species that had been planning their own conquests quietly reconsidered their strategies. The humans had demonstrated that they possessed overwhelming military superiority, but they used that power to protect rather than dominate. Admiral Kang received reports from Commonwealth intelligence services about potential threats in distant regions of space. "Sir, we have detected several hostile empires in other galactic sectors. They may eventually move again.